It was 6:18 in the morning when my phone started ringing again and again. I almost ignored it because I was standing on a train platform in Switzerland, getting ready for another trip. Then my neighbor, Mike, left a voice message that made my stomach drop. "Dylan? Don't hang up. Your HOA just broke the lock on your property. They have trucks there, and they're acting like they own the place." For a second, I thought he had the wrong address. "My property?" I asked. "Yes, they're inside your land right now." I opened my security camera app, expecting to see a mistake. Instead, I watched 4 HOA board members standing on my front lawn with contractors. One of them, HOA President Karen Brooks, pointed at my garage and shouted, "Take everything out. This house has been abandoned for months. We're reclaiming it for the community." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My house wasn't abandoned. I was traveling. There was a huge difference. Karen held up a stack of papers like she had some special power. The workers didn't ask a single question. They cut the heavy chain on my side gate, drove construction trucks onto my land, and even placed bright orange signs that said, "Future HOA Community Resource Center." Mike kept filming from across the street. He whispered, "They're removing your mailbox now." "Dylan, I don't think they're planning to stop." I felt completely helpless. I was over 5,000 miles away. Calling the AOL was useless because nobody answered. Karen had already blocked my number after an argument months earlier when I refused to give the HOA access to my private workshop. She told everyone that homeowners who disappeared for too long didn't deserve to keep unused property. I thought that was just another one of her crazy speeches. Now she was acting on it. Then something even stranger happened. A black SUV pulled into my driveway. Karen immediately smiled and walked toward it, shaking hands with a man wearing a business suit. Mike sounded confused. I've never seen him before. But Karen is treating him like he's important. The man looked around my property, nodded once, and signed a folder Karen handed him. Then Karen laughed and said loud enough for Mike's camera to catch every word, "By the time he comes home, this place won't belong to him anymore." The moment I heard that sentence, I stopped looking worried. I started smiling, because Karen had no idea what was hidden inside that property, or who that man had just pretended to represent. One signature had just started the biggest mistake of their lives. Dylan booked the first flight home, but he didn't call the HOA again. Instead, he made 2 quiet phone calls. One went to his attorney. The other went to the county investigator he had worked with years earlier during a land rights case. He also saved every second of Mike's security footage. Before boarding the plane, he smiled and said, "Sometimes the fastest way to win is to let people finish making their mistake." When he landed the next day, his phone exploded with messages. Karen had posted online that the HOA had rescued an abandoned property and was creating a new community center. Neighbors were divided. Some believed her. Others couldn't understand why construction crews were working on private land. Dylan drove straight to his house. The front gate was gone. His mailbox had been removed. Several expensive tools were missing, and part of his workshop had already been torn down. Karen spotted him and walked over with a proud smile. "I told you this property was ours now," she said. "You left for months." The HOA voted to take control. Dylan calmly asked, "Can you show me the law that says you can steal someone's land because they went on vacation?" Karen waved a folder in his face. "Everything is legal." Just then, 2 sheriff's deputies arrived. Karen crossed her arms and pointed at Dylan. "Perfect timing. Arrest him. He's trespassing on HOA property." One deputy looked at Dylan, then looked at the address on his tablet. He frowned. "This isn't HOA property." Karen's smile faded. She quickly handed over her paperwork. The deputy read it for less than a minute before asking, "Who prepared these documents?" Karen confidently pointed to the man in the business suit. The deputy quietly replied, "That's interesting, because this man's company doesn't own land records. He's just a private consultant." Karen's face turned pale. Then Dylan's attorney arrived carrying certified county documents. He placed them on the hood of the patrol car. The deed has never changed. Mr. Dillon has owned this property the entire time. The HOA has no legal authority here. They also entered the property by force, destroyed private structures, and removed personal property. The deputies immediately stopped the construction crew from working. County investigators arrived soon after. They photographed everything. Mike handed over clear video showing Karen ordering workers to cut the lock, remove the mailbox, and enter the property without permission. Karen still refused to back down. "He abandoned it," she shouted. Dillon looked directly at her. "Traveling isn't abandonment, but breaking into someone's property is." That sentence spread through the neighborhood faster than anything Karen had ever posted. Over the next few weeks, investigators uncovered even more. The HOA had collected money from contractors before getting permission. Board meeting minutes had been changed after the fact. Fake violation notices had been sent to homeowners who questioned Karen. Several board members admitted they only signed papers because Karen told them everything had already been approved. One by one, they turned against her. The county charged Karen with criminal trespassing, property damage, and filing false documents. Civil lawsuits followed. Insurance refused to protect actions that were intentionally illegal. Karen was forced to pay a huge personal settlement along with the HOA. The judge didn't hide his frustration. He said, "An HOA exists to enforce community rules, not to take private property." Those words made headlines across the county. Months later, Dillon rebuilt his workshop exactly the way he wanted. The neighbors who had stood by him gathered for a small barbecue in his backyard. Mike laughed as he looked at the new steel gate. "This one looks impossible to cut." Dillon smiled. "It isn't the gate that protects this place. It's the truth." The HOA elected a completely new board. Every meeting became public. Financial records were open to all homeowners, and no board member was ever allowed to enter private property without written legal authority again. As the sun set over the neighborhood, Dillon looked at the home he almost lost, because someone believed power was stronger than the law. Karen thought a vacation meant she could take someone else's land. Instead, she lost her position, her reputation, and everything she had tried to control. Because no matter how loud someone acts, the law speaks louder.